Forrest here, Cichlid Man 09. Happy Wednesday. It's another episode of Fast Facts with Forrest coming at you, and we are going to conclude our series on Southern Delight fish foods today. Instead of doing one like I have been doing the last few weeks, we are going to do 3 foods, finish the series. A couple reasons why. I've got a cool video for you next week, as well as I'm sure you guys are bored of me talking about these, and we're going to kind of move on with these Fast Fact videos and hopefully make it somewhat of a weekly informative series for you guys, whether it be a DIY project, talking about fish food, whatever, quick tip, fast fact, whatever it is. Hopefully it's something you guys enjoy. But like I said, we're going to do 3 foods today: large cichlid food, growth formula, and nano krill. So without any further ado, thank you everybody who subscribed to me yesterday. As a matter of fact, we hit 1,400 subscribers. Very cool. I love it. If you're not subscribed to me and you're watching this video, there's going to be a clicker right here in this area. Click on that. You'll subscribe to me. I put out 3 weekly videos a week. I appreciate it very much. As well as there's a like button down there. Hit that like button if you like the video. But you can wait till the end of the video where we're going to talk about what we got coming for you next week. Very excited. And not anything else to say other than let's get to the foods. And we're back. So we're going to talk 3 pellets today to finish our series on Southern Delight. We're going to start smallest and work our way up to the big boy food, large cichlid. So starting small first, we're going to talk nano krill. Nano krill is exactly as the title says. This is a small fish food. Comes in a 4-ounce container as well with the shaker top. I did have the similar issues with this shaker top as I did with small cichlid food, strictly due to the fact that the shaker holes are pretty large and the food is pretty small, which makes regulating the food a bit difficult. But all I do is take the shaker tops off and I use what these are called measuring spoons. Makes a much more accurate way and consistent way to feed your fish. Now, what nano krill has in my fish room in terms of application is for feeding fry. Once fry get to about a 1/2 inch long, that's when fry can start consuming 0.5 millimeter pellets, and that's usually about the smallest pellet that people make. They can consume 0.5 millimeter pellets, and once they can consume pellets, everybody, my firmest belief is to get them eating pellets, because pellets in terms of nutrient density and nutrient delivery are probably the best way to feed your fish. It's going to get them growing faster. They don't have to eat as much to receive the same nutrients as they would with other foods, say gel foods or frozen, whatever you're feeding them. Pellets are usually going to be the best way to go. I got 2 pellets in here. NutriBite and a ColorBite. One's a sink, one's a floating. So what that does is it'll hit all 3 levels, top, middle, bottom. So if you've got a community tank with some small fish where you've got fish feeding in the top and the middle and the bottom, it's going to hit all of those levels full. So all those fish are going to be able to eat. Absolutely fantastic stuff. My Gorillas Blacks grew very quickly on this stuff. My Rio Mags, my F1s over there, are now switched over to it recently, the past week. So they should start growing quickly. I'm not going to attribute that 100% to the food, but I can tell you with my Gorillas Black fry, they did grow very fast, eating basically only nano krill until they got large enough to switch over to small cichlid, and that's what they're on now. But the nano krill in between, them being small fry and large enough to eat a larger pellet like the small cichlid food, was an absolutely perfect food. Did a great job. Fish were able to eat, fish eat at the top, middle, bottom. Packaging, same thing for all the Southern Delight foods. I'm not going to repeat it for those 2. They have absolutely knocked the packaging out of the ballpark. Absolutely fantastic. It's hard to say out there that 90% of people out there who go and look for fish food don't know the difference between cat food, dog food, and fish food. The few that do, thumbs up to you. But for most people, don't understand that. So the fact that they can put a product that visually is so appealing together that everybody out there is going to want to buy just because it looks awesome. Factoring that in, as well as the quality, probiotics, everything, it creates an awesome food. And Southern Delight has really done something special. Second food here is growth. Growth formula is easily and far beyond my favorite food out of the Southern Delight line, strictly due to the fact that it's a single pellet. Their single pellet in the growth pellet is absolutely fantastic. 42% protein, 6% fat. If somebody out there is looking for a food and doesn't have necessarily the money to buy growth, large cichlid, and power feed, the food that I would recommend anybody out there buying who doesn't have that budget to have a bunch of different kinds of foods, absolutely go out and buy some growth, because in terms of young fish, adult fish, juvenile fish, whatever age, as long as they can consume it, this pellet is going to be 100% beneficial for them. For large fish like Hulk over here, who aren't utilizing a ton of energy in terms of going towards growth, this is a perfect food because it doesn't have those excess nutrients in terms of fat percentages. So he's not going to have a bunch of excess nutrients just dumping out of his system. His body's going to utilize it all, and it's just absolutely fantastic. Growth. The shaker top on the Growth was perfect size. These holes for the 3mm pellet that Growth is, you can see that again, absolutely perfect. Probably the best regulated food came out of a shaker top, other than maybe the Veggie Krill. But the shaker top with the Growth formula, absolutely great. Southern Delight gets a thumbs up on that. The perfect size pellet to the shaker top. Did a very good job at regulating the food. Again, packaging, fantastic. Fish don't eat the packaging though, everybody. Fish don't eat it. They eat the pellets inside. Like I said, Growth is easily my favorite food out of the Southern Delight line. Absolutely great. Any fish from 4 inches on up to a 20-inch dovie can eat the stuff, and it's going to be beneficial, and it's not going to provide those excess nutrients that could eventually lead to a fish maybe being fat. So Growth formula, fantastic. Probably my favorite in terms of a adult staple for fish that, like I said, aren't utilizing those excess nutrients for growth. When you're putting excess nutrients into an adult fish like that, it just comes out as waste, or sucks into their body as fatty liver deposits, something like that. And adult fish just don't need that. Large cichlid food is basically the same food as the small cichlid food. It's the same mix in terms of it's got a high fat, high protein pellet and a low fat, low protein pellet in a lipid pellet as well as a color pellet. Color is red, lipid is brown. This is about a 6mm mix, so probably the biggest mix that Southern Delight has out there. This stuff is very comparable to Massivore in terms of, for those large fish that are still growing, absolutely great food, as well as can be a good staple for your fish as well, just because the averages between the two pellets will even out to something that's not going to eventually harm your fish in terms of excess nutrients. But for those fish that are still growing, because it has that lipid pellet in there, it's going to be a great food. My umbies love this stuff. There's a Zool over there looking great. Umbies love this stuff. I do feed it to Hulk every once in a while because it does have those complementing percentages between the two pellets. Great food. Love it. For those large fish, any fish probably 6 inches on up, like I said, you can feed it to as big as fish as you want. One tip I want to give you guys, don't get caught up on pellet sizes in terms of fish sizes. Just because your fish is big doesn't necessarily mean it needs large pellets. Hulk right there, probably almost 13 inches long. He eats these growth pellets as a staple, and they're probably only about 3 to 4 millimeters in size. So as long as they're getting the nutrients, they don't have to be in some big giant, frisbee-sized pellet so that a big fish can only eat one. It's not necessary. Fish don't need those large-sized pellets. So having pellets upwards of sizes 6 millimeter that Southern Delight has put together, absolutely perfect. Hits fish in all different size areas. But like I said, growth, probably my favorite Southern Delight food. Large cichlid, absolutely fantastic. Going to give your fish coloring and growing a lot quicker. Your fish are going to grow quicker on the large cichlid food than the growth. I'm going to say that right now. Even though this says growth, they're going to grow quicker on the large cichlid food because it does have that lipid pellet in there with that very high fat content. Now, if you don't necessarily need that kind of growth from your fish, or don't necessarily want it, growth formula, stable ingredients, great staple food for your fish. Stable ingredients, great staple food, only one pellet, so there's no confusion. Sometimes fish do prefer one over the other, I have noticed. So when you're feeding the growth formula, they don't have that option, which I do really like. But the Southern Delight line, each food has its own specific purpose, and I believe they just absolutely knocked it out of the ballpark. The growth formula does exactly what I expect it to do. The large cichlid formula with the percentages does exactly what you would expect it to. Nano Krill, great food for those young fish. If you've only got fish that get to about an inch in size, great food for those fish. Fantastic. That's our 3 foods for today. We're going to finish up our Southern Delight line. Thanks for tuning into this series within a series, talking about Southern Delight foods on my Fast Facts series. Hopefully this gave you a little information about the food, so that if you go wanting to buy some from my boys Mike and Conway over at Aquatic Support Systems, who sponsor my channel, you can go in there with an informed decision, knowing what you want and what you need. So hopefully that's what this series was really geared towards, was informing the public on some Southern Delight foods, because it's stuff that I believe in, stuff that I use. I really like it myself. My fish seem to love this stuff, and that's really all that matters. If you have not subscribed to me already, click that subscribe button right there. Would really appreciate it. Like the video if you did like the video, if it gave you a little information that you didn't have before. Stay tuned next week. Got an awesome DIY project that I've actually done before but would like to do again. Something a little bit better produced so that you guys can get a better example of exactly what I want to show you guys next week. But other than that, don't really have anything else to say. Other than, again, thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, like I said, there's a subscribe thing right there. Click it. And we'll see you guys this weekend for our fish room update, which I have not done for like 3 weeks. So hopefully you're excited for that. We'll show you some fish, talk about some fish. But like I said, next week, Fast Facts got an awesome DIY project to share with you. Should be pretty cool. And that's about it. Thanks for watching. And the spin.